Are you going to do? I was gonna say it sounded like. We haven't been to decide yet. That's
Trees down, some woods.
We look great here.
So, I'm not a ranger like you. I can't.
have some water.
I hope it's an emerald, so I'm gonna have to read it.
That's our 7-year plan.
Farmer tell us. Oh, yes. For real? Oh, have you ever been here? I love it.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. We need a motion to reconvene for open session, please.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Angie. And the time is 7:30. Okay, all in favor of reconvening, raise your hand. All right. Okay, welcome to our June meeting. Let's stand and say the pledge of allegiance together. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. We do not have any visitors to address the board. I skipped the special recognitions, I apologize. We would like to honor the K through 6 Character Council student groups for their monumental efforts to help their classmates during this past 2016-2017 school year. Together, those buildings and students raised over $9,000 for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And they used this money to grant 2 wishes to 2 different students. One student was in the elementary and one student was in the intermediate. We could not be more proud of the efforts of the students in the primary, elementary, and intermediate buildings. They made a huge difference in the lives of their classmates and enabled them, each of them, to have a trip of a lifetime to Disney World. So that's really impressive. Okay, that was cool. It's fun to hear those things. All right, again, no visitors to address the board. That gets us to the consent agenda. Any questions or about any of these items? Anything you might need to pull for discussion? Okay. I had a couple of questions about the Ames Web program, because that's in part of our assessment plan, is that correct? Okay. Did we, this year, I know we got a really late start using it in December? Okay, so we're continuing to use it again next
Yes, we're
year?
expanding it to 7th and 8th grade as well. The teachers thought it was very beneficial.
Okay. And how much is the cost of that program? I know it was in our budget.
$6.50 a student.
Okay.
That's what it was last year.
Okay, any other questions? All right, so I need a motion to approve the consent agenda, please. Thank you, Beth. Okay, show of hands to approve the consent agenda, all items. That gets us to superintendent's report then.
All right, we have a relatively lengthy agenda this evening, so I will keep it short. I'll have Director Pinker keep you on the clock. No, a couple of things I do want to bring up to speed on EPA football field project. It's big for us, Ray and I appreciate Ray best. He does a great job for you as a district. Ray's been working hard trying to get things worked out with EPA. I've been communicating with Ray, and I like to have one point of contact on this, and Ray's done a great job with it. We were hoping to have a lot more paving done than what the EPA has approved. And I don't know if any of you have ever had to deal with a government agency. No offense if you work for one, but it's very difficult. The EPA was looking to actually approve from the stoplight over Hawk Drive, excuse me, what is this over here? Stadium Drive, thank you, Ray. Stadium Drive from the stoplight all the way down beside the intermediate, all the way to the old field house, repave all of that. And we were told they would. They sent out some special investigator person to look at it who said no, they wouldn't be doing that. They are repaving from the corner of Hawk Drive, that entire parking lot, which was torn up by the delivery of the sod and by the heavy equipment. They also are going to put gravel, direct grade, down to the parking area, lower parking area of the stadium, which was currently there. They're fixing 3 or 2 spots, Ray, on the track. 3 spots on the track, and we have a couple pieces of sod that didn't take, so they're going to replace those. So we're looking, as soon as they sign off on it, we want to have that done by the 1st of August. But we hope to have it done in time for the football players to use for the summer. 2-a-days, whenever that kicks off. When's that kick off, Ed?
It's camp, and it's the second week of July.
Second week of July. So we're hopeful, but they said they needed about a week, right, Ray? A week to 2 weeks to have it done. So it's going to be pushing it, but he said they should have it signed off on hopefully this week. But ultimately, you can, as a district, say, no, we want you to repave that, and I don't think that's going to happen.
Was this special investigator from the EPA or from Prudent?
No, I believe it was from the EPA people came out and looked at it, right, Ray? Yes. I'm sure Prudent would want to do it because they would get paid, compensated to do it. And that's what was measured last year and this year again. And anyway, I wanted to give you an update there.
Well, because their policy is to make it,
Like kind.
like it was before. And so it was,
There were some cracks in it before. Ray, I believe, it got a little worse, but they had taken pictures and said, no, we believe it's not as
like
bad.
before and after.
Yes. And Ray and I agree, there was some cracking there. It's still solid asphalt, but we figured 18-wheelers had a cracking more. But anyway, that's an update with that. Next, Ray and I visited with some individuals about the 3M film installation, as we talked about last board meeting. Since the high school and the intermediate school are not getting so much, a lot of our focus is on our other buildings in the district for the bond issue. We actually brought in individuals from the 3M Corporation to look at the install. And we've been having a lot of back and forth. And one of the things that Ray and I wanted to do was to focus on priority 1s and priority 2s when it came to the 3M film installation. We consider priority 1s to be all your entrances and your egress as much as possible. And priority 2s to be glass surrounding it. So for example, if you look at the intermediate, the vestibule is priority 1. And the exit on the back side of the cafeteria is priority 1. And then you have the glass that wraps around, is that the south end, Ray, of the cafeteria and intermediate?
Yeah.
Okay, we looked at that as more of a priority 2. And we actually were able to look at all of those areas. They're at the high school, the main entryway, the exit, and principal's offices there on the front. And they gave us a bid, which we thought was really decent at $42,500. Now, what the architects had put in there was $150,000 for those two buildings, same area. So we're hoping that by taking this out, it'll free up more funds for you to utilize in other areas. Now, we've also excited to say we're looking at the bleachers. Ray brought in the bleacher folks. Now, on the film, here, let me pass this around to you. You can just take an opportunity, if you would, and this is the 3M film. All of it's the same. Just take an opportunity. You can try to tear that in half if you want, but you can't. The only way you can mess with that is if you cut it. So anyway, this film actually be put on the windows, and then an apparatus installed to help keep it in place. So anyway, that's what that looks like. So anyway, these are the 3M film products. We're going to get another individual coming in. Ray's already reached out to them. We'll have some more information too. They said they need about 2 weeks, right, Ray, to get all of this installed.
Yes.
And so we'll have it done hopefully before school starts if the board approves it at their next meeting in July. We also want to talk just a minute about the bleachers. We were excited. I use the word excited because anytime you can save money, we're excited. The first bid at the junior high bleachers came in between 68 and 72, I believe, thousand. And as you know, there was pretty large. And anything, you know, I know our architects will be watching via camera. Anything you can pull out, you save money on fees, architectural design fees. So by pulling the bleachers out, they were scoped at 220,000, 200,000.
205,000.
2.5, thank you, Ray. And right now you're looking at a cost of 60 to 75,000. And I know Keith is excited about that. Yes. And 7,000 extra to remove the old ones. And you get to pick kind of what you wanted. That's why you have a range there. Ray's got another company coming in to take a look and try to, get some bids out there. There's a limited number of companies that actually can install bleachers. We're working on that, and so hopefully we'll have more information to you.
Is that leaving the wall where it's at, or just?
Right? No, that's taking the wall out.
Takes that wall out.
So we gain the extra seats to?
Actually, it won't change much in the seating. It'll still be a 16 row. That's what we got now.
Right. And so instead of losing a couple rows.
Correct, we won't lose her.
They had an option of 15 rows, correct, or the 16 rows, and Ray and I like the 16 for the additional 30 to 40 people you could sit. So, interesting times there. Now, as far as information, I'm not going to go through a lot of this. There's a ton of information to talk about how the taxes are coming in. The legislators have been called back for an additional session. We're waiting to see what transpires from that. I did leave in what was passed through the legislation, so you can read over that if you didn't have an opportunity to do so. And our June, July schedules, you will see what we've got going on. Not a lot in June and July schedule-wise, but a ton going on building-wise. We'll give you a final update on summer school numbers at the July meeting, let you know our total number of attendees, and that'll be information for that day. But that's my report for the evening. Awesome.
All right, Director Chris, we'll hear from you for facilities and grounds.
Good evening, everyone. I'll try to do this short too. Yeah. Actually, ours is actually not. Ours is pretty well concentrated in the buildings, getting the buildings prepared and wax the floors clean and all that stuff. So most of ours is pretty well getting that underway. We do have some things we've been working on at the primary again. We had another unit try to blow up on us. So another compressor went out. Before long, we're going to have them all rebuilt, hopefully.
That's a good thing.
It is a good thing. We're not having to totally replace them, but it does cost a lot of money to replace one compressor. So anyway, I think we've got it all back up and running again, and I think the teacher's not mad at us now. So we're good there. So hopefully when any more go down, they're going to teach them. So the other thing is the swamp land. I think everybody was kind of concerned about that here a while back, about a month ago, when we put that little area in with the sidewalk that goes to the playground. We brought in a little bit of dirt, re-sawed it, or got it all redone, re-sowed. So it looks good. We've had a couple good rains so far, and it didn't fall too bad, so I think we must have got it pretty close. So, looking good there. Water line broke at the old field as we got ready to fire up the systems for the football field. So we had to dig up all that down through there, but it was a good thing. Fixed that water problem for one, and two, there was a line that's been there that's supposed to be running the sprinkler systems for about the last 12 years that they put over the top of the storm drain instead of underground, which I'm sure you would appreciate it. But we actually got kind of buried that one this time, so now it's not exposed, so we did well getting it done. Then we does start July 3rd for a high school, which is what we call Devil Week. That's where everybody gets to stay out of the buildings, except for us, which is good. We get to do about 50,000 square foot of floor, including the gym and all that too as well. So we change the locks and we keep everybody away from it, so we get all that. So sorry about that, but it's only 1 week, and then everybody gets to come back and do what they want. So that's the only week Eddie lets me have. But we're really excited to get that ready to go. We had a great month. I didn't report to you last month, so I kind of combined, let's show you what we're doing on work orders. I was really impressed with the numbers, by the way. But 2 months in a row, which is April and May, we actually processed about 350 work orders, which really shocked me when we got that done. I didn't realize we'd done that many, but it was great. We got things fixed. And then we got about 150 from the buildings for the summer projects, which was not bad, a little higher than we thought. And everything. Some of them were really minor, but there's a lot of painting to do. So, and thanks for our community efforts, we have Victory Church. We started last year, and Mrs. John, who works at the high school, everybody knows her, I'm sure. Her husband Ron is a pastor out at the church. And we started last year with this, and it was great. We worked together to, they come in, help us clean the weeds and the flower beds up, and they also help us paint inside. And they're doing that this year with us. So they're going to join us on July 8th for about 4 hours that Saturday morning, and they're going to do the same thing to help us. So we love the community involvement, and it also makes our buildings look great. So we wanted to thank them. The other thing I wanted to throw out there that I know Kim Jackson's here with us already, Regina's not, but they've been really instrumental for us last year and this year, allowing us to use the bus drivers and as well as some of the food service personnel. And they come and help our custodians clean these buildings, and we make them look and shiny. So I'd like to thank them for that, and as well as HR and the administration allowing us to do it, and yourselves. So, but it is a great thing to do. Last but not least, inspections are underway. We have approximately 15 to 18 inspections that are required prior to getting our students and our staff basically back into our buildings. These are all your fire codes and all those types of inspections. And those are all being scheduled, and you should have the report to you by next month, but most of them should be done. So that's where we stand. Any questions? No? All right. Thank you very much.
How many minutes was that?
Did I do okay?
That was 5 minutes. You need Dr. Cormier.
John, you're up.
Okay, Kathy.
Okay, Kathy, that's your goal.
This is the technology part. Email it and
You're done.
Our focus has been on our summer projects, obviously. One of the big things we've been working on is our inventory. And it's been great because the custodians have been working with us. We actually had a meeting with all of them prior to it. And so we're trying to get a jump start before they get to our room so that we can, because it's kind of hard sometimes when they're moving things out and we're trying to get them there. And while we're in there doing the inventory, we're also renaming PCs and joining them to our Active Directory. Since we're going to be getting rid of Novell, we have to set up all the computers to be able to do Active Directory. We're pretty much on target with that. Aaron's been working on creating the user accounts. It's been quite a fun project there. The iPads, we're trying to get all of them managed. We have about 35 left that need to be managed. We're waiting for summer school to get over, and then we can pull those ones that they use for summer school to get them in. We retired a few servers that we no longer need. A couple things that weren't on your sheet was one of the big things we did is a camera inventory and checked all the cameras. So we actually loaded up every single camera, and then the guys went around and cleaned up all the ones they could, put ones in focus that were no longer in focus to get those up and going. They've been installing rails for smart boards, and the other thing we've been focused on is training. Instead of, in the past, guys were doing all the training, they're actually going to some conferences now. so they've been hitting us all over the place. And that's it.
Okay. I think she's ready.
You got it.
All right. Our financial report with Ms. Ginge.
All right.
Great, Kathy Kelly. 2 minutes.
Well, I don't have a lot to report. Everything, you can see the financial statement is tracking about how I thought it would. Revenue came in strong from DESI. I just got that payment yesterday, so I'm gotta get that in and see how it flushes out. But state adequacy target they paid out in June is 198, which is great. I think it will surpass what I had in my budget amendment. So, as far as expenditures, they're still looking a little higher on my financial statement, and that is again because of how we changed the pay cycle, and we're about a half a month ahead. So we're finalizing all of our payroll. We'll finish out all the rest of those checks in June. I think it's probably next week she'll get all that finished, and then I can look at those final numbers. So we had the auditors in this week doing some preliminary work. They did testing on our P cards, on our payroll and our contracts, and in accounts payable. So that went real good. They were in and out in one day. They'll be back in September. So that is about all I have, unless you have questions for me. Thank you.
Okay, I don't know if we have a report from our students.
Right now, we're just working on our goals for this upcoming year, so we don't have a report this month.
That's fine. Okay.
I was actually going to suggest a few things.
Oh, yay!
I was going to ask you, have you gotten any suggestions from the end of the year from the other buildings, from the suggestion boxes? I hope we set those up.
We have not yet set those up, but that's on our goals
Plan
for,
for next year.
yeah.
Okay.
beginning of-
And then I was actually I actually wrote down here, if you guys could put together a plan for next year of your communication for building, how you're going to communicate it out, you know, what your plans are. I know you're set up the surveys and things like that. And then Ben had mentioned having a second event for like the clubs, to sign up for the clubs.
Yes.
So if you could put together some
Yeah,
information on
I've
that.
been working on that. I have an email like written out to send out to all those club sponsors and like sports sponsors. I've not sent it yet. I'm planning on sending it tomorrow, I think. I just gotta check a couple of things with Miss Etherton. But hopefully it'll be okay. Like,
Good.
hopefully people will show up and actually, you know.
Yay. And then also, I know we talked about, you did a survey on, you know, where participation was in the building, and if you had ideas on how to increase that participation, I'd like to hear more about that as well. And then, obviously, your terms are going to be up at the end of December. So what I would like for you guys to do is put together information for the next student advisors coming to the board, maybe a transitional document of here's what we've done, here's how you can continue on, things of that nature. You know, I know it's early, but it will be here before we know it.
They were sitting here talking about it
Yeah.
just a little while ago.
And then the other thing that I think would be interesting, because you're about halfway through your term, you know, we're in June now. I would like feedback from you guys at our next board meeting on how we can work better with you, right? Give us feedback. Do you need more direction from us? Do you need less direction from us? You know, give us feedback at the next board meeting of ways that we can work better with our student advisors. I think that'd be very helpful.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. So that takes us down to food service. And we have some interesting information.
For unpaid meal charges. This is something that we've done kind of for a long time, but USDA is requiring us to put something in writing by July 1st so that we can make parents aware of what we're doing as far as meal charges. So one of these will be in every packet that goes home to students. We'll have it on our website. Every time we're sending a letter home for a student that's been on negative $10, you know, we send an application. We call parents. So.
Is that letter in your report that's going to go out, or?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's underneath.
Yeah,
It's
right.
It starts with your home.
Can you click on that?
Well, I know when a student has a negative balance, they get a little half pager that says
Yes.
you're negative X.
Yes.
My children have brought them home.
Well, like for primary, when they're at that limit, we send them home every day. So hopefully
Oh,
those parents no, or, I'll call parents and say, or, we do that.
I had a question.
Okay?
I just wondered, what, at the end of the year, what is the total amount
That's
is
this
due
year
us?
was, we're probably 5,000 and lunch money debt.
That is owed?
But for us, that just carries forward to the next year. So it carries with them until they get to the 12th grade, and then before they can get their diploma, they either get a negative balance or,
So they start the
or
beginning of the
we give them a
year.
refund, or we find a sibling that's still in school.
So, but they start the beginning of the school year with a negative balance?
Yes. But like, just so you know, at the very beginning, we don't do peanut butter and jelly for the first few weeks or even an alternate meal, just to get all that money in and to be fair to parents. And when we have special events such as like our Thanksgiving dinner, we have a special pizza day, they get the same, the Thanksgiving dinner. Yes. First, our special days, because it's not their fault.
And that's the part that's K-12.
Yes. Yeah. I do know, like, because I'm part of an association with a lot of other directors, and that's fairly small compared to what other schools have. Yeah. I know when I first started, a long, long time ago, we were like 65,000 in debt.
I have a question.
Okay.
Is there a policy on when a kid has a low lunch account or negative that the person finding that out does not say that to the child, or what is the policy?
Or if they have a
If they
negative.
have a negative account, like when they're scanning their card?
Yes.
I just want to know, is there a policy so that the food service person doesn't call them out in front of other kids?
No, at the junior, usually
I mean the primary.
the
or
smaller
the
kids, we
one.
never do that,
Okay.
ever. And if the child gets the food before they get to the online, or to pay,
And then they don't have any money, what's that?
we're not gonna take that away from them, because
Okay.
we're virtually gonna be taking that away to throw it away,
Mhm.
because you can't reserve it.
Because they get their lunch and then they leave their cards and you scan the cards after they
Yeah.
sat down to eat.
Yeah.
Okay. And is that the same way with all the buildings? I just
Junior
want to make
high
sure
and
that
high school.
kids aren't being, you know,
Well, I know at the high
Embarrassed.
school, when my
It's not
son
their fault.
scans his card, if he doesn't
It'll-
have
it'll
money,
say low
they'll
balance.
tell him.
Or-
he's high school. I just
Yeah.
think, is that a policy with all the kids, of the younger kids, that the people don't?
The younger kids, we just mail home notices.
Right.
But the older kids, we do tell,
So just high school, or what about
Junior
junior
high.
Junior
Junior
high.
high.
Okay.
we tell them. And we mail notices home, like before our report card time, or
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
The only other thing I would
Okay.
want as a parent, the paid,
Hey,
paid
Pam's?
Is there any other way we could do that where they don't charge such a, I mean, that 5% surcharge?
I thought it's $1.40 per transaction.
The last time I looked, it was 5%, so
Well, you
forgive
know what a
me.
lot of people do? They'll just mail it to us.
No, I know.
Or
I
drop
just,
it off.
I didn't mean to
You
hook
go-
it up with your debit card where it would be a little easier. It's
Right.
5%.
That's their fee.
Yeah.
I mean, you could still not get on to look to see what your child's balance
Right.
is without having to pay on there.
Yeah, I know.
But we have tons of parents that just come by our office and, give one check for all buildings or,
Mhm.
Do you have any other questions for me? You good? I also wanted to ask you girls something. If you could get like a group of high school kids, I know this year I had some high school students that would email me and say, hey, could you put this on the menu? Or, we really like this or we don't. And let me know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, we
That'd
can
be
do,
awesome.
if you want to see a survey and see like what everyone's favorite lunches are, so we can see
That would be
what
awesome.
you guys would like to put more of on the
Yes.
menu, then yeah, we would love to do
Like
that.
we could even do a taste testing with the.
That would be awesome.
I'm up for it.
Can I volunteer as well now?
Getting ready for a wedding here.
Yes, definitely.
Because I love when they email me and say, hey, what's for lunch or
Right.
No, we can't leave Ben out of the taste testing.
Oh, Ben will be all over.
Ben will be
Thank you,
disappointed.
guys.
Thanks, Kim. Okay, moving on to unfinished business. Mr. Renauer is not here, he's with the basketball team, and this is his
Yes.
item, so he's asked that we table that again till next month because he wants to discuss it with you. He doesn't, yeah, he doesn't want you to think that it's not important. He's just not here, he's out of town. So he has things he wants to share. And it's a really cool trip. Okay. So that gets us to new business. And we have quite a few items to move through, so maybe we can get through most of them fairly quickly. The first item from Mr. Marino has to do with approval of teen camps in July, or from, July 2017 to June 2018. Would like to have us approve high school students attending the teen camps that require overnight travel and stay throughout the state of Missouri from that time frame. I'd like for us to approve that. Any questions or comments? Yes, something we do every year. Okay, thank you, Beth and Eric. All right, all in favor of approving these trips? Okay, very good. The next one has to do with competitive opportunities when students have to stay overnight for state level competitions. And this is, again, kind of the same thing that we do every year, but this is for the next school year. Second. Okay, Eric and, not Eric, sorry, Rob and any questions? So that includes your sponsors and staying overnight. Okay. Let's show hands then if we approve this motion. To approve it. Thank you. Letter C gets to a meal increase in price for purchasing meals from the cafeteria. So we need a motion to approve the increase for lunch prices for the 2017-18 school year. And the recommended price is K-6 at $2.30. 7th grade through 12th grade is $2.55, and adults at $3.10. Thank you, Brett and Rob. Any questions? We can kind of address that already. All right, all in favor? Raise your hand. Very good. Okay. We're looking at the approval of policy ADF, and this is the one, this is the cupcake one?
Correct, this is our cupcake policy. We've spent a lot of time, when I say we, Beth Ann, Kim Jackson, Sandy Orchard, the administrators, trying to figure out how much fat's in a cupcake and this pizza. And, you know, our belief is that we want our kids to be kids sometimes. You know, focus, come to school focused on, we want them to be studious, but we also want them to celebrate and have those opportunities. So with our policy ADF that we sent home to you, there was the key question that we had jotted down on what we would follow, the guidelines. And nutrition guidelines outlined in section 2 not apply to food or beverages brought from home by students for consumption solely by the student, or food or beverages created or used by students as part of the instructional program. If you remember, there was a line in there that said, or any food brought, sold, not during regular lunchtime. So you can see that line's been redacted. If you can't eat this on that, that line's been taken out. And we actually addressed the caloric intake and the grams of fat in the administrative procedure that matches this policy. And were there any other changes that we made that I left out, Kim?
I don't think so.
Those were the major ones,
Yeah.
weren't they? At the end, you
So then the students would have an opportunity to eat and have a cupcake.
Right.
Or
Trail
birthday
parties
party
for student incentive trip, or
Correct.
Casey's.
Yeah.
Okay. So our recommendation, correct, Kim, is for that, the board to now accept these because they've been revised to our practices.
Yes.
So these are for special occasions and events, not daily?
Yes.
Right.
It's like when parents bring birthday.
Right.
It's like, I don't want to tell them they can't do that. Or pizza or.
Sure.
I'm going to accept this.
Okay, thank you, Beth. So we have a motion to accept policy ADF with the
Second.
revisions. And,
Second,
okay,
third.
third, fourth. Okay, any other questions about this policy? Any of the revisions? All right, all in favor of approving of policy ADF? Okay. All right, well, we've been looking at the budget. You had the preliminary budget given to you, and we had our workshop and discussed it or answered questions. Are there any other questions or concerns that you have at this time about the preliminary budget? Okay,
With those changes you were talking about with the bleachers and things like that through Ray, instead of coming through the bond, would that change in
No,
here
you
as
would
well?
still use the bond money. You wouldn't be using your budgeted money.
okay, so I still don't have a second for this.
Second.
Thank you, Laura. So we have a motion to approve the preliminary 2017-18 budget as presented. All in favor? Good. Gosh, we have not reached out. I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm going through that. All right. So now we're looking at the end of the year budget adjustments. And we need to make a motion to authorize Kelly, our CFO, to proceed with making annual adjusting entries as needed. Okay. So we're gonna, Beth and Angie to make those adjustments. Can we do that? Any questions? That wraps up by the end of June, is that right? Okay. All right, all in favor? Very good. You also were given a list of board meeting dates, starting in June, moving through next year, June. I guess it starts in July, goes through June. So that was written in your summary. I meant to tell you that little piece of paper, that little. Yes, that's it. That was really helpful.
Yes.
I appreciated that greatly.
A couple of things we need to make note of. The next meeting, that was scheduled for July 27th. We normally have the third Thursday of every month. We had some members that were not able to make that July 27th meeting, so we've actually moved that up to July 20. Unfortunately, Eric said he can't be with us. I told him I was swapping him and a couple in order to see, lose him. He said he was fine with that. He would be vacationing. And, but that also want to point out to you, November is the Tuesday, as well as April the 17th is a Tuesday.
So it is going to be the 21st on a Tuesday,
What's that?
the November,
Is it 21st instead of the 20th?
because I didn't know whether it was, which was an oops.
Yes, it should
Okay,
be.
it is going to be the Tuesday.
Whatever that Tuesday is in November, correct?
It's the 21st.
It is the 21st, okay.
That was my question.
So we'll make that correction.
I do want to give the credit to Dr. Isaacson, who texted me, it looks like at 7:45 to notify me that that was the incorrect date. So thank you.
No, that's not what I texted you.
Oh.
I said, that's terrible. I
Oh,
might not be here.
John might be
Because
celebrating.
that's the day before
Honestly.
Thanksgiving holiday.
It
Might
is.
be at a football game.
Well, and that's why I thought maybe you bumped it to Monday so that staff,
We're more-
you guys.
We're more than
can-
happy to do that.
Well, I don't see why
To
not.
be
I don't
honest
see
with you.
why
In
not.
fact,
I
Beth Ann and I
think
had a long talk
that's-
about, let's move it to Monday. It's
I
right
think
there.
it should be.
I would like to make it Monday, truthfully.
I do
We would
too.
love it. So the 20th is the correct, we
Okay.
just put
Yes.
Monday
I was-
instead of Tuesday. We knew we were
My
doing
bad.
that.
Is that what we're doing? Move it to
Let's move it to Monday
Monday
the 20th.
because
Because people leave
Wednesday
on
is
Wednesday.
a day off school.
Travel.
and then people can leave for holiday earlier. Love it.
So
Okay.
it should be Monday.
So
Monday. So the date is listed correctly, it's just, it should be Monday.
it'll be Monday instead of Tuesday.
I make a motion to approve it as amended.
I second.
The Tuesday being Monday.
Okay. We're gonna be so confused. Okay, and then Angie, FX, Rob, and okay. All right, all in favor of accepting these meeting dates? All right. Okay. Now we're going through letter H. I need a motion to authorize business office to make necessary payments through June 30th, 2002. Is that, how's that different than what we did on F?
The other one is for budget adjustments. This is like to send out,
Oh,
you
the
know,
other
to
was
make
budget
payments.
adjustments,
Mhm.
okay, and this is bills.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, I didn't hear
I
anybody.
didn't hear it.
Okay, so I need a motion to authorize the business office. I have Eric.
No, somebody has theirs.
Rob.
I-
Oh, it's Rob, okay, and who
I
seconded?
second.
And Angie. I'm becoming like the auctioneer.
But you can, go ahead.
Okay, all in favor? Very good. All right. I is approving the technology plan, their action plan for 2017 through 2020. Is that correct? Okay. So approve the plan, the action plan as presented. And Jay, that's you, Jay. Any questions about the technology plan? I did have a quiz if you'd like to. I'm teasing. Okay, all in favor? Raise your hand, please. All right, great. Who said this was long? All right, J has to do with our student handbooks. You were given handbooks for all of the buildings to look through. Any questions about those? Anything that you were concerned about, didn't understand, needed answers? All right. As long as it's enforced, that's, I agree. So I need a motion to approve the student handbooks as presented. Thank you, Eric, and second Beth. You just ready to raise your hand? Okay. Maybe I'll make you stand up instead. All in favor, raise your hand.
I can stand up fast too.
Okay. Letter K has to do with the issue that was discussed previously about the salary schedule. We were given some handouts before to look through those. I don't know if we changed, were any of the options changed? It's all the same as last time, I believe?
That is the same.
Okay. You want to talk about anything, John? No?
You know, just kind of reiterate, I mean, like we talked about before, is we've looked at everything from stipends to, and there's just, it's not very clean. And to be fair and consistent across the board, the best and cleanest is probably adding and just completing the salary schedule. But also being mindful that what we do could have a potential impact on the administration. I think that's important to look at that. So And it really, there's a, I come down to the either like the $400 or the $200 option. There would be an option to, like on the $400 sheet where you can see there's 400 going in each box. If we ran $400 in the masters and the masters plus 15 salary schedule, and then in year 29 and 30, change that to 200, because that would be consistent with what currently is going on in the masters plus 30 and doctoral column, then there would be no impact on the administration salary schedule. But there would be an impact for those individuals once they get their long-term for retirement, those types of items. So that's another alternative that the board can do.
So is that the column that you're choosing or that you might recommend?
As far as, I recommend working through masters above and fulfilling all the, if we're going to make changes, go all the way down to the bottom. And then it's determining what is the amount that we put in each one of those boxes. From a financial standpoint, it shouldn't be more than 400. I mean, that's just.
Sure, to keep it balanced. Thoughts from people sitting around the table?
I've had lots of conversations with John. However, yes.
Well, you
And,
asked to have more time, so.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh, yes, well, I did, because, you know, I've dealt with some of this in my past, and that's where I was having issues, was putting items back in when a few years ago, in the district, we worked to get all those wet. But one of the statements he made that stuck with me was an administrator in the district never reaches a zero increase, even though it gets less and less as you are down there in the, you know, years of experience, it gets less and less, but it never is a zero. Whereas your teachers, you do. And so that really kind of, for me, sunk in that, you know, might as well be fair to all.
Yeah, and we have had teachers that
Yes.
have not had an increase.
Right. And, you know, the state of Missouri pretty much expects you to get your master's. And so I'm real good with not doing anything with the bachelor's because we do want everybody to move over. So
That would be the incentive.
I personally am, now I'm ready to approve.
Well, we have to decide which option.
Oh, the
Our recommendation
400.
is the blue, yes,
Yes.
that's what we're recommending.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah,
I guess that's blue, on your screen.
yes. I make a motion to approve the 400 at the master's up.
To finish out the schedule.
Finish out the schedule.
Okay. Is there a question? Okay.
So it'll be 400
Well,
on the masters, and then 400 masters plus 15
Uh-huh.
each step. And then currently in the blue,
Two.
in step 29,
it's the blue column.
it's blue. That will, currently it's 200, that will also move to 4.
And that's what's going to be my follow-up question, because you had never said that to me. And so that was a new concept. Are you recommending that we do 400 all the way down, or are you recommending 400 and then 200 in the last two?
Well, that's, I'm putting that to the board as far as a consideration as, that alleviates kind of the administration piece of it, but it also, there is that impact on the staff as they go down long-term. That's, you know, $200, there is a financial impact on administration. It's, I mean, we're not talking big, but there's an impact. And it depends on the individual and the multiplier, et cetera, because the multiplier, like for, I'll use me as an example, it would be 1.5 of that. So that $200 is going to be a $300, 1.5 times that $200. Does that make, does everybody follow along with what? So that is
But if it was 400, it would be 600 for you.
No, no. 200 more, because it's 200, if we add the 200, it's a $300 difference.
But you're saying if we, instead of putting 200, if we put 400,
100 in, it would be.
But we're not adding 400 then, we're adding 200.
And then last.
Right, but
If we did
But she's
400.
saying-
if we did 400
All the way down.
all the way down,
Yes.
then it
that's-
would be,
That's why I want to get a point of clarification.
Okay.
My recommendation is, once you get to clarify, year 25, which is currently blank, from there on down, that'll be like a blue section there, that is $400. You go from 829 the year before to 400 to the rest of your career at Hillsboro. And Masters plus 15, once you get to box 27, from there on down, each step is a $400 increase. In box 29, on the Masters plus 30 in the doctoral, currently that's a $200. That also moves to 400. So it's just as you get to there, it's adding 200 to that one, not 400 on top of
because there's
it.
already 200 in there.
Because there's already 200 in there. But the other ones are 400. All the other steps are 400.
And the rationale for that is, then you have somebody with a Masters plus 30 is like, I got a $200 raise, it actually been behooved me to only have my Masters or whatever, it just makes it.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor that has a first. I will make the second. Huh? Any other thoughts or questions, concerns?
this motion is for the blue column.
Correct. Okay, all in favor?
No, it's this one. That says
Well,
at the
there's
top.
a
You guys are looking at different things, I can tell that. That is, like for
There's
this.
two charts that apply.
Okay, so we're going to,
Yeah, but if you scroll
Yeah, I
down,
know.
The top page and inside.
So the one in the
there's
computer is
schedule.
different than mine.
no, no, no.
No, it's not.
That says
That's
at
in
the
there.
They were
top,
looking at that.
400, all the way down. And it's 400
If
on,
you, Mr. Moore, if you scroll,
tell us which one.
that's
the blue is this, but if you scroll up to the salary schedule,
That's one.
I'll show you which.
You
Go
need to scroll down.
Scroll
Oh,
down.
scroll down. Excuse me.
That's not.
Keep going.
That's the 200. That's the 200.
This is the 200, keep going.
It says at the very top
70,047.
of the chart.
This one right here. Yes.
Okay, see that well.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, so then, from here on, after this, it goes from 5887 to 59287. $400. $400 for each step, $400 for each step, 400 for each step.
It's fair.
Okay,
That's what I thought we were about.
all right. So are we ready to vote now? Okay, all in favor of approving this particular one with the $400 set? Raise your hand, please. Thank you, very good. I think that was a good move. Very excited about that. It's taken a while for it to happen. It's a good thing. Okay. The next item I'm going to defer because this has to do with the non-MOU schedule, and I'm not exactly sure what
Right.
all the details are.
Approved salary movement for employees, non-MOU. Once you have the MOU for your current certificated employees, you will not consider giving a year of experience to individuals that are not certificated. So anyone that is not a licensed employee in the district And in years past, John has put forward to you, give everyone a step. We want to make sure the board understands that we also want to extend a step in movement for individuals that are not on a memorandum of understanding. For example, we had paraprofessionals in years past who are hourly, and once you approve that for them, it just automatically populated all employees that were hourly. Well, since we did not have meet and confer this year with paras, we wanted to make sure the board understands, and we want to get approval for allowing everyone to move 1 year of experience on the salary schedules in their respective positions.
You know, that could coaches, that's just every other employee in the district.
On all the other
All the other
On
salaries.
all the other schedules, okay. All right, I heard Angie make a motion to approve those salary schedules and the movement. And accept that. Any questions? All right, all in favor? Good. All right, we had some changes to policy. First one was GDVDA, and there was some amended language in that particular policy for, this is the bereavement policy?
Yes, ma'am.
And we were just adding the statement biological mother/father
Yes.
and the vacation
Yeah, the
issue.
vacation, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are there any questions about that change? I know we've talked about it before, but.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, so to approve the revisions for GDVDA, and these will be effective July 1st?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do we have a first?
Second.
Jane. Sorry.
Is everyone clear on it says that the vacation, about the vacation days, does that make sense? I just want to make sure that we cover that. So, for example, let's say, according to policy, an employee had to work here a minimum of 6 months prior to the July 1 day in order to get their vacation days. So what would happen is if you had someone hired between January and June, they weren't getting any days. For example, if someone was hired February for a year and a half, February 2017, they were not getting any vacation all the way through the following July 2018. If they were hired in June or January 2017, they weren't getting anything until July 2018, which is a year and a half. So what we try to do is get it to where those individuals would get leave based upon the total number of working months that they were here, a portion of the leave day at least. They wouldn't get all of them, but they would get some of them. We figured that was good for employees. And so I just want to make sure, sorry to interrupt.
Is that the rate?
that you-
Right.
Well, for those
Multiple.
those 6 people hired in those, and it doesn't happen often. I think what we covered, John, 4 people, how many were impacted, John?
This is a copy. We had 4 this year. We had 2 that were hired after, they were hired like in April, or excuse me, March, and they wouldn't have gotten any vacation until next July 1. And now they'll get 3 days for next school. So that's just so you have that. What it looks like.
Okay, so we do have the motion, okay. Any questions? Right, all in favor of amending this policy? Very good. We also have some changes to policy GCVDA. Took me a couple of times before I realized these letters were different. You were given the changes for that as well, for leave days. And the bereavement section was the same, but it was the half-day absence
For
that was different.
certificated staff.
Uh-huh.
And that, again, that was in the MOU, so we
Right.
just have to make the policy change to reflect that.
Second.
Okay, so Angie can take that. So we've already approved it in the MOUs. We're
Yes,
just
ma'am.
making it formal now. Okay, any other concerns? All in favor? Very good. Okay. See, I didn't change that out. I'm not superstitious. Pardon me? As far as I'm concerned. Okay, so I need a motion to adjourn. We have Beth and Angie. Okay, but the time was 8:12, yeah. All in favor, raise your hand.
Just let you know, so I want to text. I have some vacation time the last week of June, so text me if you need me. I might not answer, depending upon cell phone signal. So, people would, so.